Yeah, yeah. Head tilt, right? Hi, my name is Daniel Hippolyte, and I'm super thankful for the welcoming and inclusive community we have here in Atlantic Canada. I'm from the Caribbean initially. I'm from an island called St. Lucia, and I arrived in Halifax 8 years ago. I started off my studies here at St. Mary's University, did my 4-year degree in marketing and HR, and then I moved to start with TD Insurance right afterwards, right? It's been fantastic ever since. Good question. Funny enough, universities in Atlantic Canada do a lot of recruiting back home. So a lot of the universities kind of come down to the islands in the Caribbean and they have like showcases, right? Where they display their universities, what fields of studies they kind of are specialized in and stuff like that. And I saw St. Mary's University and a picture of it was very green and luscious in the summertime. And I said, that reminds me of home. I would love to, go to university in Halifax and just feel like I'm at home as well. It was a smaller city, comfortable, what I'm used to, and I thought, that's gonna definitely benefit me, and in the long run, it did. Yeah. I think the diversity and inclusion in Halifax is one of the best I've seen personally in Canada, right? I've been able to connect to the people here. In one of my talks recently for African Heritage Month I gave on behalf of TD, I wanted to give a shout out to not only the Black community in Nova Scotia, but the general community as well, because I feel like I've been able to be welcomed, accepted, and I feel celebrated for my contributions that I've brought to Atlantic Canada. And I really think that they do a fantastic job of just celebrating community, right? I think community is big here, and that's what matters. It helps people feel welcome and included. When I'm giving my talks on behalf of TD at the various Black History Month events and sessions I've done, I always want to shout out the community because the community is what makes people feel welcome, makes people feel invited, makes people feel celebrated, right? And so if the culture in Atlantic Canada wasn't what it is today, people wouldn't be still coming here, People from the Caribbean and people from everywhere else, we wouldn't be migrating here. But it is the community that really makes us move here. So yeah, I think it's good. In regards to bad experiences, I would say more challenges sometimes. I think people from these minority groups sometimes do have to work a little harder or just put a little bit more effort in to make our contributions felt and feel impactful. I say companies like TD are fantastic organizations that I've fortunately been a part of that celebrate these contributions. But I think there sometimes takes a little bit more digging or a little bit more research or a little bit more, I want to say, effort, right? That's needed to keep everything on an equal playing field. So for me, if I had to say about a challenge, it's just been really learning to sell myself, learning to market myself and show the contributions that I've been able to deliver on. Yeah. I do miss home, but at the same time, it's funny, when I was in university, I would tell people from back home that I feel like Halifax is such a nice mixing zone and kind of melting pot of different cultures. I can walk down the street in Halifax and see someone from St. Lucia, right? Sometimes at universities, I'd walk down the hallway and I would hear, Dan, right? And I would turn around and here I see somebody back from my home. So there are a lot of people from the Caribbean that do come up to Halifax. So even though I miss home, I still get a piece of it here, right? And I'm super thankful for that. Being in Atlantic Canada, one of the things I really like is the community feel. Provinces like Ontario, like Quebec are a little bit bigger, but when you look at Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, etc., and specifically being in a city like Halifax, you get that community feel where people connect a little bit more. I can walk down the streets and see people that I've seen maybe 2 or 3 days before. I see people in their routines and people see me in mine, and I think I'm able to connect on a different level to people that way. I also like the winter. It's kind of funny and ironic, I would say, in a sense. Being from the Caribbean, I rather the cold to the heat. So that's a little fun fact as well. My plans for the future in Atlantic Canada will be to keep branching out as I'm doing right now. TD again has been such a great organization to me, and I've been fortunate on my career journey and career trajectory. And I want to keep it moving. I want to keep doing more in terms of diversity and inclusion, keep doing more about Black empowerment, and just about team management. I like being a team manager. I like being able to set and create that inclusive and diverse team and workforce and show that people's contributions do matter. So it's just to keep moving forward and to keep getting myself higher. It's funny because I do have a few stories. I remember one time somebody actually asked me if we rode turtles to school or to work back in the Caribbean because of all these, what you see in pictures and movies and the stereotypes. Somebody asked me if we lived in little huts and if we drove turtles to school, right? And of course I had to joke around and I continued it. So I said, of course, I have a pet turtle. His name is Larry, right? And he's who drives me to school. And my little hut, it doesn't have too much electricity, but every now and then I'm able to surf YouTube. But of course, just joking. But that was one of the questions I would get. But I think it's about education and just enlightening people. So of course, after I made that joke, I of course informed them that it's same as here. We have cars and that's how we get around. But it is really about education, and I think some people are they haven't been exposed to other cultures and just really are a little ignorant about it. So I do kind of like to educate when I can.